The Ukrainian armed forces have struck a gas metering station used to transport gas to Europe in the city of Sudzha, Kursk region of Russia. Local Telegram channels reported this. After the strike, a powerful explosion and fire occurred at the station. There is no information on the extent of the damage and casualties. It is said that gas transit to Europe has stopped. Russian sources claim that the fire was visible from the border between Kursk and Sumy regions. The Sudzha station was previously used by Gazprom to export gas through Ukraine to Europe, but Ukraine has since stopped accepting Russian gas. Russia has not issued an official statement about the incident, but Russian Telegram-based media outlets Mash and Baza blamed Ukraine for the attack. The station at Sudzha was the only point through which Russian gas had passed on its way through Ukraine and on to Europe until Ukraine declined to prolong a transit agreement in January this year. A second crossing point was closed in 2022. Ukrainian media also reported the strike and posted video footage of the blaze, as did Telegram channels in the Kursk region. Unofficial Russian military blogs said they believed Ukrainian forces had staged the attack. The Baza Telegram channel, close to the Russian security services, said the pipeline had been damaged. Sudzha was one of the first towns to be captured by Ukrainian forces in the mass cross-border attack last August. Ukrainian forces held large swathes of the region, but Russian forces have been taking back territory in recent weeks, and Moscow's military last week said it had recaptured Sudzha. Russian bloggers reported that Moscow's forces had crept for several kilometers through the pipeline as part of the operation to retake the area. Sudzha is the only station through which gas was pumped for transit to Europe by Gazprom, with a volume of 42 million cubic meters per day. The station was an important element of the gas transport system of Ukraine.
На замену скидывать видео.
This night in Russia, several objects were attacked that help Vladimir Putin's regime to continue the war against Ukraine. Among them is the Engels oil base in the Saratov region, where it arrives not for the first time. It was the biggest attack ever made on Engels. But, apparently, warehouses with ammunition at the airfield also suffered. Indeed, Andrei Kovalenko, the head of the Center for Countering Disinformation at the National Security Service, confirmed on his TG channel that during the night operation, the Russians lost missiles, including X-101. True, the quantity will be clear later. At this airfield, they store most of the missiles used by the strategic aviation for strikes on Ukraine, Kovalenko reminded. Unofficial monitoring groups report that 30 to 60 X-101 missiles could have been brought to this airfield in the last 2 weeks. A large transport plane, an 124-100 Ruslin, with an unknown cargo also arrived there. Analysts noted that usually 30 to 70 rockets are stored in such warehouses, and in the morning Il-76 arrived at the base, probably delivering a new batch of X-101 for Strata Aviation. In addition, after the impact, the debris was scattered within a radius of 5 kilometers, which increases the probability of damage to the planes that were on the airfield. Previously, there were 3 Tu-95MS and 2-160 on the airbase. The airfield itself is one of the key sites of Russian long-range aviation, and Tu-95MS regularly take off from there to attack Ukraine. Now a state of emergency has been introduced in the airport area. Evacuation is ongoing. President Donald Trump has suggested to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky that the U.S. should take ownership of Ukrainian power plants to ensure the critical facilities' security. According to a White House statement, Trump told Zelensky during a call Wednesday that the U.S. could be very helpful in running those plants with its electricity and utility expertise. Associated Press reporter Amr Madhani says Trump added that American ownership of those plants could be the best protection for that infrastructure. He told Zelensky, according to Rubio and Waltz, during the call, how about considering American ownership of some of these power plants? That would be a way to best ensure security for these facilities in the long term. It's unclear if this idea from Trump is going to go anywhere, but it was offered up, Madhani said. The idea was floated during a call between the two leaders. Another topic of discussion was Ukraine's desire for Patriot missile systems, which President Trump said he would look into. The Trump administration looking to finalize an agreement to gain access to Ukraine's critical minerals as partial repayment for U.S. support for Ukraine during the war. Wednesday's call, which both sides say went well, comes weeks after Zelensky's disastrous White House visit.
President Trump and President Zelensky of Ukraine had a call today. It comes just a day after Trump spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin about the pathway ahead to ending the 3-year-old conflict in Ukraine. One of the things that came up in the call with Zelensky today was a desire for air defense systems for Ukraine. Trump told Zelensky that he would look into it. Zelensky particularly wants Patriot missile systems. Another sort of interesting aspect of the call was on power plants, which is an issue, particularly with one big nuclear power plant in southern Ukraine that was taken over early in the war by Russia. And now today, Trump had an interesting suggestion. He told Zelensky, according to Rubio and Waltz during the call, how about considering American ownership of some of these power plants? That would be a way to best ensure security for these facilities in the long term. It's unclear if this idea from Trump is going to go anywhere, but it was offered up. Another aspect of the talks has been Putin's desire for all foreign intelligence sharing and defense aid to Ukraine to end immediately. That's the path that he says must be met in order for Russia to consider cessation of hostilities against Ukraine. But the White House, at least for now, seems to be standing pat on the idea that they're going to continue to be sending intelligence or sharing intelligence